As human beings, we are naturally wired to hold on, to cling to what we know, to control what we can, and to resist the unknown. From the moment we wake up each day, we are caught in a web of attachments. Attachment to our routines, our possessions, our relationships, and most profoundly, our expectations for the future. It is part of our survival instinct. After all, the mind seeks security and the heart seeks certainty. But therein lies a subtle trap, one that quietly burdens our soul and clouds our perception. The more we insist on controlling every outcome, the more we invite anxiety, disappointment, and despair. Think about it. How often do we find ourselves worrying over things beyond our control, relationships that may falter, jobs that may be lost, opportunities that may slip through our fingers? We plan, we calculate, we strategize, and yet, life has a way of reminding us that no amount of human effort can guarantee the results we desire. Holding on too tightly creates an illusion of security while simultaneously restricting the freedom of our hearts. We may convince ourselves that our control is necessary, that it keeps us safe, but in reality, it isolates us from peace, from trust, and ultimately, from Allah's wisdom. This tendency to cling is not just emotional, it is deeply psychological. Studies in modern psychology show that humans have a natural discomfort with uncertainty. The unknown triggers stress responses in the brain, prompting us to seek patterns, plans, and guarantees, even when they are impossible. Spiritually, this mirrors the heart's resistance to surrendering fully to Allah. When we cannot let go, when we cannot relinquish our obsessive need to dictate life's outcomes, we are essentially saying, "I know better than you, Allah. I will carry this burden myself." And that is not humility. It is a form of subtle arrogance, and it exacts a toll on our mental and spiritual well-being. Yet there is a profound lesson hidden in this struggle. Recognizing our tendency to hold on is the first step toward transformation. To be aware that we are clinging, and that this clinging is neither necessary nor beneficial, is to begin opening our hands slowly, gently, consciously, to the divine. We must remind ourselves that Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows what we cannot see, understands what we cannot fathom, and orchestrates what we cannot control. Holding on too tightly does not honor our effort, it diminishes our faith. Letting go, paradoxically, is a courageous act. It is an acknowledgement that we are human, limited, and in need of guidance, and it is a declaration of trust in the one who is limitless. When we begin to release the illusion of control, we start to experience a subtle shift in our hearts. The weight of anxiety begins to lift. Our decisions become clearer, not because the challenges have disappeared, but because we are no longer entangled in the suffocating grip of fear and obsession. Life does not become easier, but our perspective transforms. We realize that security is not found in control, but in trust, that freedom is not found in possession, but in surrender, and that true peace is not found in holding on, but in letting go. So I leave you with this. Notice what you are holding on to today. What burdens do you insist on carrying yourself, believing you alone must manage them? And ask yourself what would happen if you opened your hands even slightly and entrusted them to Allah. It is in that simple, courageous act that you begin to step into a life not of anxiety, but of faith, not of fear, but of trust, not of struggle, but of serenity. Let go and let Allah show you the vastness of His wisdom. Once we begin to recognize our tendency to cling, the next step is to understand what it truly means to rely on Allah. In Islamic thought, this concept is called Tawakkul and it is often misunderstood. Many think that relying on Allah is passive, a surrender that excuses effort, a retreat from responsibility. But nothing could be further from the truth. Tawakkul is neither complacency nor resignation. It is a profound balance between action and trust, between exerting effort and surrendering the outcome to the one who knows all things. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. He sows the best seeds, nurtures the soil, waters diligently, and protects the crops from harm. Yet, no matter how skilled he is, the final harvest is never entirely under his control. The rain may not come, pests may appear, or unforeseen circumstances may alter the outcome. The farmer's role is clear: do his utmost with full intention and effort, and then he must trust the process, and ultimately he must trust Allah to manage what lies beyond his hands. This is Tawakkul in its essence, a perfect blend of human responsibility and divine reliance. Psychologically, this balance addresses a fundamental tension in our hearts. On one side, humans crave control. On the other, we recognize our limitations. When we fail to integrate effort with trust, we either fall into despair when our efforts do not produce the expected results, or into arrogance when our successes make us believe we are self-sufficient. Tawakkul resolves this tension beautifully. It teaches that our actions matter deeply, that striving is essential, but that the outcomes are ultimately in Allah's hands. This realization frees the heart from the relentless pressure of trying to control the uncontrollable. Philosophically, Tawakkul is also a statement about the nature of reality. It acknowledges that life is inherently uncertain, that the universe operates according to a wisdom far greater than our own, and that what may seem like setbacks or obstacles may in truth be blessings or lessons in disguise. By trusting Allah, we align ourselves with this deeper wisdom. We learn to see life not as a series of random events or personal victories and failures, but as a meaningful journey guided by divine knowledge. Every challenge, every disappointment, every triumph becomes a reflection of Allah's plan, and our heart becomes a mirror of faith rather than fear. Tawakkul also transforms how we approach fear and anxiety. When we trust in Allah, we do not cling to outcomes, obsess over control, or live in constant worry about the future. Instead, we act with diligence and intention, but we release the burden of expectation. This does not mean we abandon goals. Rather, it means we anchor ourselves in faith, understanding that the ultimate results rest with Allah. The peace that emerges from this awareness is unlike any worldly relief. It is deep, enduring, and unshakable. And this trust, like any skill, requires practice. It grows through reflection, prayer, and remembrance. It is nurtured when we recall the countless examples from the Quran and the life of the Prophet letter FDAF, where individuals worked tirelessly but entrusted their outcomes to Allah. It is strengthened when we remind ourselves that Allah is closer to us than our jugular vein, aware of our struggles and capable of managing what we cannot. So, I leave you with this thought: effort without reliance is anxiety, reliance without effort is stagnation. True tawakkul is the bridge between the two. It is action paired with surrender, striving paired with trust. Everyone, where are you putting your trust? Are you clinging to control, or are you practicing this deep, liberating reliance on Allah? To let go of the burden of life's uncertainties is not weakness, it is wisdom. To trust Allah fully is not naivety, it is courage. Make that choice today and step into a life defined by faith, clarity, and serenity. Once we begin to understand our tendency to cling and the true nature of reliance on Allah, we come to a profound realization: letting go is not merely a spiritual act. It is a gateway to freedom. The human heart is often burdened by invisible chains, chains of worry, fear, regret, and expectation. We carry the weight of outcomes, relationships, ambitions, and disappointments as if they are ours alone to bear. But the truth is, the more tightly we clutch life, the heavier these burdens become. Letting go, then, is not an act of giving up, it is an act of liberation. Psychologically, holding on creates a constant state of tension. Our minds replay scenarios endlessly, calculating what might happen, what could go wrong, or how we could fix what is beyond repair. Anxiety thrives in this environment. Our emotional energy is drained in futile attempts to control outcomes we were never meant to control. Letting go, in contrast, allows the mind and heart to rest. It is a conscious decision to release the illusion of control, acknowledging that Allah's wisdom is greater than our understanding and that His plan is perfect, even when we cannot see it. Spiritually, this liberation is transformative. When we stop obsessing over life's uncertainties, we make space for trust to grow. Our hearts begin to breathe. The very act of surrendering to Allah opens us to His guidance, mercy, and support. This is not passive resignation, it is active faith. It is the difference between being trapped in fear and embracing life with confidence, knowing that whatever happens is part of a greater divine wisdom. The Prophet ﷺ exemplified this beautifully. He faced immense trials, yet his heart remained uncluttered by fear or excessive attachment to outcomes. His life teaches us that true freedom comes not from controlling the world, but from trusting the one who controls it. Philosophically, letting go is a recognition of the nature of existence itself. Life is impermanent, circumstances change, people change, and even our own plans evolve. When we cling to permanence, we invite suffering, but when we accept impermanence and relinquish control, we align ourselves with reality. We begin to see life as a journey of trust rather than a battlefield of struggles. Every challenge becomes a teacher, every uncertainty a reminder, and every disappointment an opportunity to strengthen our reliance on Allah. In this state, peace is no longer contingent on circumstances. It becomes an inner quality cultivated through surrender. The liberation of letting go also empowers action. Paradoxically, when we release our obsession with outcomes, we act more decisively and more wisely. We are no longer paralyzed by fear or indecision because our efforts are no longer weighted by the burden of absolute control. We take the steps we can, guided by faith, and leave the rest to Allah. The mind becomes clear, the heart calm, and the spirit resilient. This is the essence of spiritual maturity, acting without attachment, striving without anxiety, and trusting without reservation. So I leave you with this reflection. What are the chains you carry today? Which burdens are yours to let go of? And which have you been holding as if they were the measure of your worth? The moment you release your grip, even slightly, you open the door to profound freedom. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is not passivity, it is courage. It is the acknowledgement that life is too vast, too complex, and too divinely orchestrated for our limited hands to manage alone. Trust Allah, release your grip, and step into the liberation He intends for you. The peace you seek is waiting not outside, but within. Now that we have explored the human tendency to cling, the true nature of reliance on Allah, and the liberation that comes from letting go, the question arises, how do we cultivate this trust in practical, tangible ways? How do we train our hearts to surrender fully, even in the face of uncertainty, without losing motivation or direction? The answer lies in intentional practice, small, deliberate steps that gradually reshape our mindset, our habits, and ultimately, our relationship with Allah. The first and most foundational step is prayer, *Salah*. Prayer is more than ritual, it is a daily, tangible act of surrender. When we stand before Allah in humility, we are reminded that we are not the ultimate controllers of our lives. Our concerns, our fears, our hopes, they are all presented to the one who manages the universe. Prayer trains the heart to pause, reflect, and release its grip on outcomes, reaffirming that ultimate authority and wisdom belong to Allah alone. Through consistent prayer, reliance on Allah becomes not just an abstract idea, but a lived experience. Second, we strengthen trust through reflection on the Quran and the lives of the prophets. The stories of those who came before us, how they navigated loss, uncertainty, and trials with unwavering faith serve as mirrors for our own journey. When we read about Prophet Yusuf, who faced betrayal, imprisonment, and years of hardship, yet never lost trust in Allah, or Prophet Muhammad, who faced unimaginable trials yet remained steadfast, we learn that trust is cultivated through patience and perspective. Reflection allows us to see that what appears as misfortune may, in reality, be the shaping of our character, the opening of new paths, or the refinement of our soul. Gratitude is another crucial practice. It may seem counterintuitive, but acknowledging the blessings we already have shifts our focus away from fear of the unknown and toward appreciation of Allah's provision. Gratitude trains the mind to recognize divine wisdom in all circumstances, reinforcing that whatever comes, Allah's plan is ultimately benevolent. By actively counting our blessings, we remind ourselves that surrendering control does not mean loss. It means trust in a provider who never errs. Patience, or sabr is equally essential. Trust is not instantaneous. It grows over time as we navigate life's challenges. When difficulties arise, instead of reacting with panic or resentment, we practice patience, reminding ourselves that each trial is temporary and meaningful, and that Allah's timing is perfect. Patience is the bridge between effort and reliance. It allows us to act decisively while maintaining serenity in the heart. Finally, mindfulness in everyday life reinforces trust. This means consciously observing our thoughts and emotions, recognizing when we are clinging to control, and gently redirecting our focus toward reliance on Allah. It is in these moments during a difficult conversation, a professional setback, or personal uncertainty that our practice of trust is tested and strengthened. Every conscious effort to let go, every intentional act of surrender, is a step toward embedding tawakkul deeply within our hearts. So, consider today, what practical steps can you take to strengthen your trust in Allah? How can you integrate prayer, reflection, gratitude, patience, and mindfulness into your daily life so that reliance becomes a living, breathing part of your existence? The transformation begins not with a single grand gesture, but with consistent, deliberate acts that shape the heart over time. Remember, trust in Allah is not a destination, it is a lifelong journey, it is a practice, a discipline, and a way of seeing the world. By incorporating these steps into your life, you move from fear to faith, from anxiety to serenity, and from struggle to spiritual clarity. Let these practices be your bridge to a heart that surrenders fully, acts with intention, and rests in the profound knowledge that Allah, in His infinite wisdom, is always in control. Begin today, take that first step, and witness how the surrender of your heart transforms your life.